Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to a Market Watch style video. As you're aware, this Friday it is the full release of the RB set, Resurgence Boosters, or for most of us out here, the Reprint set. It's absolutely god awful if you've played the game for more than like a month, because 99% of the things that you want are actually cheaper to buy from the older sets. Now, I don't think it's just like time's gone by and people are just selling out and people aren't really interested anymore. A lot of people have moved on to other card games, or they've just not enjoyed themselves, or there's just, you know, life, getting older, don't have time. I do feel that sometimes time is of the essence and I never have enough of it. But besides the actual Ghost game stuff here, which is what Bandai originally wanted us to have over here in the English player base, and a lot of people complained about it, the value is very skewed. So besides the odd couple of cards here, for instance, like the Siriusmon and the Articusmon, most things here is very cheap, and that's great for you as a buyer. I know this is pre-release windows, but because I feel like some set that's not opened a lot, you're going to find a lot of these cards are going to be very expensive. And the issue is, most of the Ghost game stuff is hot garbage. It's got no place in the meta, that we're currently in, because it's come out later than what it originally should have done in Japan. Japan had theirs between EX4 and BT13. I don't really think it saw any play between there, except maybe Jellymon. Jellymon saw a little bit of play because it has like an OTK now. But the other stuff isn't specifically great. It gets better when we get to LB set, which we jammed into our BT15. God damn us all. But the set itself is trash. And that's the problem. So what you'll see here is that the only cards that are worth any money are the SRs from the Ghost game set, and some of the SRs that are getting reprinted. Now, if we go over to most expensive, you'll notice that the alternate arts are the most expensive. And to some degree, that makes a lot of sense, because obviously you need to make your money somewhere, and it has to be on, you know, alternate arts in this case, because the boxes aren't really worth anything. The biggest issue I've seen, though, is when it comes to what things are worth money, are things like Metal Greymon, Lucy, and I believe what the next one down is, where we look at Magna. So if we look at these three cards, you can see here that if you look at the other versions, for the original version, sorry, the original version looking like £7. So European prices, that's something like $8.20 on that. For the alternate art from BT1, you're looking at 18, maybe £20. For the new tech, I think it's new texture foil, it's a secret rare, they're going to be 25 to like €30. And personally speaking, I'd rather have the cool old school style of Metal Greymon from BT1 in the alternate art than spend the extra £8 to £10 on the textured foil SR version, secret rare version, in my opinion. Now, if you just prefer to get the textured foils, that's down to you. And it's your money. No one's going to stop you from playing with your money. But why go buy the most expensive version when you've got essentially the same version over here for a fifth of the price? Same with Lucymon. Lucymon has seen very little play these days. I don't think there's a deck that currently really needs Lucymon. To be fair, we could do with having the more Lucy names come out soon, actually seeing like what they want to do with Lucymon. Obviously, we've got Fall Down. Sorry, what was it? No Chaos. We need Satan mode still. Everything in between. But again, you can get the cool, cheruby looking alt art here for $17.40. Very good. I remember when these like 60 quid. You can get the normal art for just over £6. Or you can buy the brand new version that is possibly textured foil for £22. Personally speaking, I'd pick up nearly a playset of these for the price of one of these, if you really needed to have them. And as I normally say, if you can afford to, pick up a playset of everything, because you never know it's going to be good, and you don't want to be in a situation where paying £25 for a playset then becomes paying £200 for a playset. It could happen one day. Obviously, with having reprints, it's going to probably not happen as swiftly, pun not intended, but that is where you have to look at things. Magnamon, on the other hand, here, again, with the gold reprinting we had earlier this year, it did drop the prices down quite horrifically. And at one point, Magna on its own was like 35 to 40. Alt art was between 45 and 60. It got to the point where a lot of people, you had to play this in like 3 or 4 different decks, so it was getting very hard to get hold of. The gold came out earlier in the year, and that helped drop the prices down to something a lot more reasonable. This is the price that we saw sort of back in the day when like BT1 first dropped. A lot of people tell you this wasn't the price, but I feel like for a good like 6 months, this was the price of Magnas. And then the Resurgence Booster, it's $13.70. I'd rather go buy 4 of these than 3 of these, to be fair. I think the issue is that we haven't actually seen them in person, not the actual, like, in comparison to each other. But again, it's something that you want to play set of. Get a hold of these, or they're cheapish. I mean, these could still come down. If you prefer the alternate art, I would recommend getting the alternate art. Just in case, you know, this ever does become a meta staple again. Obviously, we have Ace coming out in BT14, which kind of does replace Magna, but not in the exact same spot like it has been in other decks, where it's a 6,000 body, it's yellow, it's a level 5. You know, there are certain decks mastery that does like messing around with this. There's a few other decks too. But having the new Ace card kind of does push down on the power of this card a little bit more. You know, Ace is at 8,000, it costs 4 to play, and to Digivolve, it's, I think, 3 on your turn, and then Blast Ace if you don't explode instantly. Very good card. And that's kind of the issue I've seen with a lot of the issues with Resurgence Booster. You're having to try and make some money somewhere, and it's not necessarily anywhere good. The new Digimon alt art, though, is fairly cheap. It's £13. I know that back in the day, the Digimons were like 20 quid, so I can understand why people are like, oh, I don't really want to put that much money on a card that's not really worth anything. But here's the alternate art. It's nice to get it. Hopefully, we're getting the texture, because it wasn't originally meant to be in this set. It was meant to be in, I always forget if it's meant to be in BT13 or BT12, or if it's meant to be in EX4. But if it's here now, I do hope it gets the texture treatment. It's obviously a secret. I mean, you know, you can get the basic ones for 4 quid, you can get the alt arts for 8, and then you get these for 13. Again, if they are textured foil, might be worth just getting one just for the collection. If not, grab your play set of these. I don't think we're going to see much play with these anymore, as it's a 6 DP Digimon, unless we get like a Vmon that gives you jamming. If we've got vaccine or something in your traits. Maybe one day. 2 swings early is pretty good if that's the case, but that's about it for this. And people are saying like, oh, I hate the oil slick alter arts. That's fine. But I wouldn't be paying 13 for a non-oil slick. I'll just get the oil slick ones, which are going for currently 150. Yeah, I'll just get the oil slick ones and just do with it. However, SB, though, being a £13 SR is quite weird to me. I know it's decent into Machine Drum because it's a cyborg, so you can obviously trash it and do with it that way. But that does seem to be the weird thing. Also, having Defeat, that's still a very good card. It just doesn't really have a deck or a place to be currently. Going for £8 is very strange. But then I looked at it the other day, and it's like the alt art is like 10. Something just very cheap, and it's just confusing me. 60 for this one, and then 8.50 for this one. What a time to be alive. I remember these like 40 quid each. Oh, who says Digimon's the cheapest card game? We all do. Promos getting re-released. I believe these are the re-released ones and not the ones that came with the promo pack for Christmas time. So yeah, so it's nice to see that these are the promos that are getting re-released, because we've had issues getting hold of these. I think this is technically the second time they've been released. It's nice to get access to them again, and they are somewhat expensive, but I do think these will be coming down in price relatively quickly. Promos do come in like the rare section slot or the SR slot, so they are somewhat common, but every pack has a chance of having like, I think like, what was it, one box has like 6 promos in or something, so there's always a chance you can get one. People did say it was kind of awkward, but yeah. But then again, the original promo, which isn't foil as far as I'm aware, is now down to 261. So if you're playing Gammon, which you could be in the future, maybe pick up some of the cheaper promos. The Memory Boosts are going for £6, but if you check out Memory Boost now, a lot of them are like under £1. It seems very strange to me that they're trying to push this so hard. Again, trying to make some money out of the packs that aren't worth anything. I understand this. These just haven't been up for sale yet, which makes sense, but I think it's because a lot of stores haven't had access to these just yet, because they come from the collection boxes, the little adventure boxes. Promos are, as I said, down to like 80p. These are now down to 522. But I think it's because they're anticipating these ones, to be fair. I do like the Gilman one more, but it is me. A lot of the other ones are doing the same when it comes to prices. This, I don't understand. This is super expensive. I think you can pick up some of the alternate arts for the same sort of price these days. It's been a while, but besides like these two, like everything else is like get cheaper than this one. The best art, except the best art. I like the best. Yep, I'm happy that the best art is the most expensive still. Ah, but no, like if you really want them, these are cheaper. So many alternate arts you can pick up from as well, and despite the fact they're a meta staple, they're very cheap. If you're a red or blue deck and you want to win games, pick up an Omnimon. Green Booster is super expensive here, but again, the All Force promo, this was more expensive when I checked it out yesterday. I was going to do a video yesterday, but unfortunately the youngies is not been very well. And there's like, well, these were like £17 on that, like £12 on that. And it was like, why are you trying to sell these for like this much money when you can't give these ones away? Well, I think I got like 2 or 3 places this upstairs because like when I did the pre-release, they just couldn't like get rid of them. So like, just take them. We don't need them. Just please. And then yeah, like I think we are going to see a bit of risk. Oh, Lilith is coming down super cheap. If you ever want to pick up some Liliths, there's maybe some old formats when Mega Digimon Fusion wasn't banned. But like we've got so many different versions now. Winner's going for £2,000. Damn, I mean people selling for 600. But like the gold version is 10. Alt art is 14. Standard is 6. This is cheapest actually. So there you go. So if you want to get a cheap version, get yourself one from the Resurgence Booster, which seems to be the cheapest thing we've seen so far. I don't know. This is what I'm kind of getting at. It's nice to see that we're obviously getting reprints, but for the majority of us, we didn't need it, and it hasn't really added anything of value to the card game. Obviously, in Japan, it's different. They had like a long period of time between like the first few sets and what we had. We've only had 2 years between the first sets and the last sets, and a lot of these promos either just don't have any value anymore or just don't seem to do anything. Balboromon, that will probably come up because it's a black Digimon. With the new aces also being black, so it makes it that you got 2 black Diaboromons that you can run a deck with, which makes sense for like Ultimate Cup formats. But everything else is kind of in a weird place. Keramon getting a reprint is nice. The old promos that were super hard to get hold of is nice, just for collection's sake if you couldn't get one back in the day. But again, for a lot of us here, it's a case of like, you know, we've got a lot of these. We got playsets to these. We brought these like when they were like this much, when they were cheap playsets. I mean, I feel like Sean's got like a £1 card, maybe. Yeah, not even £1. Like the alternate 7. I know some people do play this in some of their control variants with like the vaccine builds, but like, it wasn't really me. I think what they had to do really, and a lot of you even like super agree with me or like hate the idea of it, is the fact that they need to actually look at what we're playing over here and what needs a reprint. Like, something they'll probably do like down the line, but things like Renas need reprints. If you want to play All Force, do you really want to spend £120 to £150 on 4 Renas on a deck that at best is like tier 2? Because there's a better version of that deck called Mirage Galgamon, and it costs like £40 to £50 to have the full deck, and that's an issue for me personally, where they don't seem to think that far through. They could really do with just doing something like that, just to make this bit more interesting. The fact that Ty's here and it's actually like affordable is very interesting. So I'm happy for things like this to become affordable. I mean, was this our 3rd reprint? Yeah, so we had the 2 original ones, we had the promo, and then we had this. I mean, you got to do it. I mean, you don't really see much of him anymore, but like he's a staple card. He's a very good card. There are multiple Greymons that can actually play him for free as well, and as well as other cards that say just play a Red Tamer. He's not a bad Red Tamer either, especially because it's like for every 4 or more, get a Secret +1. Like there'll come a day where he comes back into the meta. But no, I just wanted to go through the fact that like the price on this are very janky, and I think they'll always be very janky just because of the situation we have with having the reprint set, and we don't necessarily need the reprint set. I'm sure there's people out there who've like gotten in recently, especially maybe in America, where I think you guys probably do need to have something like this, because you always see like there's never any stock anywhere, people don't supply it. You know, I'm trying to pick up like XYZ card from like BT 4 or 5. They just don't seem to have it, or if I need to get it from like eBay or something, like eBay's charging me like £17 or $17, or TCG players charge me like £15 and like £12 postage to get it for me because I'm in Canada or whatever it is. And it's just like, so yeah, I understand, like, some of you out there will need these. Like, some of you out there probably go like, I'll buy like a couple of boxes, and you'll probably get like 1 or 2 playsets, or you might get a playset of everything, and then you're in a situation where you are better off, even if it's just you, or maybe it's for community if you're playing like a little group of people. But there are certain cards here that I want to pick up. Like there's Lady Devmon in foil. Finally, I'm going to pick up playset with this sub. I'm trying to think of the one now. But yeah, it's just like old things that I want, like foiling. So I want this. I want Blossom, if Blossom ever turns up somewhere around here, because it's the only colourful, a delicate planet. It seems to be in the correct worded one as well. So I wouldn't mind picking a playset of this. You only ever play 1 or 2 of, but still it's nice to have. Coromon in foil, just nice to have a few more of these lying around, because I've got only a couple of the Evo ones, so I could just do some more foil ones just to make things look nicer. Greymon, super duper cheap, and it's some foil, so pick up a playset just for the sake of it. Demi V-Mons in foil, you can get better ones for cheap, still quite cheap. Don't mind putting the money in. Floodgates, there's some floodgates here because they're for the early floodgates, you know, get me a foil. You know, next to these, Kaiser Nails and Cactus Breath. If you can't grab the big boy Cactus Breath, which is a case like a lot of people ain't going to pay like £30 for one, grab these, they're foil. Like, yeah, you're going to pay. You are going to be in Japanese if I click on you. You, on the other hand, you might be £11. Let's check. Damn it. I knew I was like to. The first English one here is 15. But if we go to the Stampy one. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to go for the big boy ones with the full art image, pay a little bit more. If not, you just want the foils, grab yourself the ones that are kicking around from this. Carsnail's being included into ours is actually really nice, because it hasn't been around since here, and it is used in certain decks, and obviously it's a very unique card. But I think that's where we're going to leave it today, Tamers. It's nice to see you guys again, and hopefully we've had a good conversation. It's really funny, because when we didn't have the BT11 reveals, I was really looking forward to this being in foil. It's still Blossom in foil, but no, I think we've had all that good stuff for now. So, peace out, goodbye, see you guys soon. Podcast is out if you guys want to listen to me in a nice sounding microphone, and my head judge, James, in the bathroom. Check it out then. We'll see you guys soon. Peace out and goodbye.